Welcome everyone. You've tuned into the show where we, well, take things apart, usually the latest and greatest from the automotive world, or let's be honest, often the latest and least great. Today, our focus, maybe with a slight hint of skepticism, falls on a car that's been well anticipated. The 2025 Suzuki eVitara.
Finally arrive.
Indeed. And the big question isn't always the question with EVs. Is this the electric savior we were promised? That sort of beacon of green progress? Or just another kind of lukewarm addition, joining an already crowded field of often, quite frankly, disappointing EVs? It feels less revolution, more mandatory group projects sometimes.
Yeah, tick in a box.
Exactly. So prepare yourselves. We're not pulling punches today. In the grand theater of EV debuts, some are less standing ovation, more collective shrug.
A polite cough, perhaps.
Precisely. We want the unfiltered truth, the raw reality. Let's get into it.
And what an entrance. Suzuki definitely took their time getting to the EV party, didn't they?
They certainly observed.
Observed, yes. Sat back while everyone else rushed in. Maybe took notes. Or, dare I say, kind of copied the homework.
Just tweaked it slightly.
Right. And now they arrive, not with a bang, but with the quiet hum of, well, this, the eVitara. And the fascinating thing, the real conundrum here, is Suzuki's own background. This is a brand built on rugged, proper off-roaders.
The Jimny.
Exactly, the Jimny, that little tank. Over 55 years of off-road heritage. Legendary stuff. And yet, their electric flagship, their big push into the future, is the Vitara.
A compact EV.
A compact EV, yes. Though, to be fair, it does have their all-grip E all-wheel drive and a trail mode, which is admittedly unique for its class.
Is it a nod to the past, maybe?
A nod, perhaps. But does it really capture that spirit? Or is it just a compromise? A pragmatic step into a future they're still a bit wary of? That's what we need to figure out. Cut through the marketing slough. Is it actually worth considering, or just another automotive disappointment?
Okay, let's unpack the design first. First impressions. For me, it's not love at first sight. It's more, I can't not look at it, but I'm not sure why.
Intriguing.
It is distinct, I'll give it that. Looks like nothing else out there.
Yes.
Except its upcoming Toyota twin, the Urban Cruiser EV, which we'll just, conveniently sidestep for now. Too confusing.
Let's keep it simple.
But the supposed funkiness, I'm not seeing it. It's described as subdued. And honestly, it looks like it was designed entirely with a ruler.
Very angular.
Very. The cuts, the lines, aggressively straight-edged, almost zero curviness, which, is a look modern minimalist, maybe, or just limited software tools.
Could be.
They claim good road presence. Lovely marketing phrase. But from the front, it looks a bit narrow, doesn't it, compared to rivals?
It does seem a little pinched, yeah.
Like someone forgot the shoulder pads only go so far. The intent is there, but the execution is just sort of present. Not offensive, but not inspiring either.
And the details definitely tell that story of choices, or maybe compromises. Up front, you get that modern, aggressive look, the LED headlamps. And, okay, they ditched the old chrome grille. That's progress.
Oh, some mercies.
But then, unpainted black plastic. Bumpers, arches, side skirts. So is that rugged, utilitarian? Or is it just cost-cutting? It really makes you wonder. Though I will say, the optional 19-inch alloys, they actually fill the arches quite well.
Okay, small win.
A small win in a very beige landscape.
Yeah.
Then you look at the side profile, that long wheelbase, 2,700 millimeter. It really shows.
Gives it some stance.
It does. And the chunky cladding continues. Plus, there's a new side spoiler and a big spoiler across the back windscreen. Aerodynamics, or just trying to add some visual spice.
Trying to stop it looking like a brick.
Perhaps. Then you get to the rear, and it kind of fizzles out. It's meant to be edgy and simple, yet funky like the front. And yeah, there's that weird gap between the taillight and the glass. That is oddly cool.
Or a mistake.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's just a tad boring back there. Compared to the angry front anyway. Why couldn't they keep that energy going?
Yeah, it feels inconsistent.
Exactly. It's like two different design teams who never spoke to each other. A very disjointed symphony of straight lines.
Right, and this brings us to the elephant in the room. The Jimny-sized elephant. Suzuki, 55 years of off-roading. The Jimny, one of the greatest cars ever, one of the best off-roaders I've ever driven, full stop.
Absolutely legendary.
So why? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they give us the electric Jimny we all secretly, or not so secretly, crave? Why the Vitara?
It's baffling.
An electric Jimny would have broken the internet. Hearts too, probably, but mostly the internet. The demand would have been insane. Instead, this competent, yes, but generic.
Like ordering a bespoke suit and getting something decent off the rack. It fits, but there's no flair.
Precisely. And that elephant leads us to the all-grip E system. Maybe the one spark of Suzuki's real DNA here.
It could be. I mean, it is on their new Hardict E platform, co-developed with Toyota and Daihatsu, specifically for EVs.
A dedicated platform. So clever packaging. Frunk?
No frunk. No storage under the bonnet at all. Apparently, Suzuki don't see the point.
Seriously. Yeah. That's a choice. Ignoring a key EV advantage.
It's a statement, I suppose. A very Suzuki statement. But the all-grip E system itself, that is interesting. 2 independent E-axles. Proper electric 4-wheel drive.
Okay.
And it has trail mode, which uses the brakes on spinning wheels to send torque to the wheel with grip, mimics a limited slip diff. That's genuine off-road tech.
Right, useful stuff. But ground clearance?
Only 180 millimeter. Yep. So let's be clear. It's not a Jimny. Sure. Not even close.
Okay.
More than most city EVs, sure. But it's for dirt tracks, snow, gravel, not proper off-roading. You will bottom out.
So useful if your driveway is a bit rough, maybe.
Exactly. If asphalt ends where common sense begins, it might be your mate. But it's such an ironic choice, isn't it? This feels like classic Japanese conservatism in the car world. Cautious, calculated.
Or just misreading the room, missing the desire for something truly exciting in Suzuki.
Could be either, or both. But the electric chimney, that's the ghost haunting this launch.
Okay, let's brace ourselves and step inside, because this is where apparently it's a mixed bag, like a budget airline meal.
Oh dear. Functional but joyless?
Pretty much. Maruti claims perceived premiumness because, look, big screens.
The screen defense.
And for a second you might be fooled until you notice that tan brown trim on the dash. Looks like leatherette, maybe?
Is it?
Nope. Plastic. Good quality plastic, they say, but plastic nonetheless. Oh, the humanity selling us brown plastic as luxury.
That is bold. Smoke and mirrors, indeed.
And the disappointment just deepens, doesn't it? Especially if you like things symmetrical.
Oh, you're going there. The asymmetry.
I have to. If you have even mild OCD, this car's a nightmare. The infotainment screen, then a random bit of glass, then the driver display, then just nothing. A blank strip, a black chunk.
It's very odd. Like they ran out of ideas halfway across the dashboard.
And the off-center air vent? Why? It's just annoying once you see it.
You can't unsee it. Yep. An OCD nightmare. Confirmed. And the materials. Plastic, different plastic, gloss black plastic.
A festival of polymers.
It really is. And that brown interior, only with white or green exteriors. Otherwise, it's just black, which makes it look even more basic.
And the gloss black buttons?
Already covered in fingerprints just looking at the photos. A smudge magnet. Awful choice.
How's the tech, the screen itself?
The 10.25-inch screen. It's okay. A bit laggy, though. You need patience.
Not ideal.
Not bright, either. Feels kind of dull. Simply laid out, which is good, I suppose, but not exciting.
Any positives?
Well, thankfully, real buttons for climate control and essentials. Physical dials.
Okay, that is a win. A welcome change from touchscreen hell.
It is. A small victory. But then you look at the 2-spoke steering wheel.
Yeah.
Feels a bit dated, and the dark roof lining makes it feel closed in.
Doesn't it have a panoramic roof?
They call it that. But it's just a normal sunroof that doesn't open.
Doesn't open.
Nope. It has a cheap-feeling manual blind. It just screams, budget cut. Another one.
Right. Okay, practicality. Let's talk rear seats. Apparently it's a knees-up experience.
That's putting it mildly. If you have legs, basically, your knees feel unnaturally high.
Like wearing tight jeans and trying to sit on a low stool.
Exactly that. It's because the floor is high, covering the battery pack underneath. Anyone over, say, 5'6", 5'7", your head's hitting the roof lining.
Ryanair of back seats, then.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Functional, but zero concessions to comfort. Designed for short trips or short people.
And the boot. Storage in general.
Tight. Really tight. Around 306 to 320 liters with the seats up. That's way smaller than you'd expect.
Rivals offer much more, right?
Oh, yeah. The Ford Puma Jenny. 574 liters. This is tiny in comparison. Like fitting an elephant in a teacup.
Any clever storage? Under the floor.
There's a little bit under the boot floor for charging cables, so that's something.
But no frunk.
Still no frunk. Because, we don't see the point.
It's becoming a mantra.
It is. And the rear amenities, or lack thereof. Fabric armrests on the doors. Come on, Rudy.
Seriously. Fabric.
Fabric? No pocket behind the driver's seat. No center armrest unless you fold down the middle seat. Just weird. No air vents back there.
No charging ports either.
Not unless you get a higher trim in some markets.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing.
Yeah.
It's properly Spartan back there. Rear passengers are definitely an afterthought.
Do the seats slide at least?
They do offer a sliding rear bench, so you get flexibility.
Yeah.
But it's a trade-off, isn't it?
Sacrifice legroom for boot space.
Exactly. You choose.
Yeah.
Slightly less tiny boot and cramped passengers, or slightly less cramped passengers, and a boot that holds maybe a handbag. Neither is great.
Right. Okay, let's get to the numbers. Power, range, charging. This is where it really needs to deliver, doesn't it? But the figures seem...
Lukewarm?
Lukewarm is generous. This isn't going to revolutionize anything, is it? Is this Suzuki really embracing the EV future or just ticking that box we mentioned?
Feels more like the latter, I have to say.
So the range, what are we looking at?
Around 214 miles, expected for the smaller 49 kilowatt-hour battery. The bigger 61 kilowatt-hour one gets up to 248 miles WLTP, or 276 miles if it's front-wheel drive.
Which, compared to something like the Kia EV3...
Which is pushing 375 miles.
Yeah, it's some way short, a big gap.
A very big gap.
Right.
Suzuki seems to have aimed for honest, maybe, rather than impressive, which is a strategy.
A questionable one in this market. And charging?
Ah, the charging confusion. This is where the math just isn't mathing. They say it peaks at 150 kilowatt. Sounds good, right?
Pretty standard fast charging.
But then they say 15% to 70% takes 30 minutes. Now, if you calculate that for the 61 kilowatt-hour battery...
It doesn't add up.
Not even close. That suggests an average speed of around 67 kilowatters. Way off the claimed 150 kilowatt-hour peak.
So the peak is just a theoretical number you'll rarely see.
Looks like it. It's like promising a shot in the arm and getting a slow drip feed. It's misleading.
And efficiency. Miles per kilowatt.
Not great either. Claimed 3.7 to 3.8 miles per kilowatters. Rivals do better.
Does that actually matter in running costs?
It does. If you do 10,000 miles a year charging at home at 25p per kilowatt, you're spending about 126 months more driving this than a more efficient Ford Puma EV.
So slower charging and more expensive to run. Brilliant.
Double whammy, exactly. Power outputs are adequate. 142 horsepower base, up to 172 or 181 for the bigger battery, FWD or AWD.
Quick enough.
The AWD does 0-62 in 7.4 seconds. So, yeah, quick enough to surprise someone at the lights. But it's not a performance car.
Not neck snapping.
Definitely not. Sufficient, but not exciting.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the theme here, just sufficient.
Okay, so behind the wheel, does it redeem itself on the road? The driving experience?
That's okay.
Just okay.
Just okay. Smooth, confident enough, but is it the groundbreaking EV we were waiting for, or just perfectly fine?
Perfectly fine seems to be its motto.
It really does. Steering is light in town, heavier in sport mode. Predictable stuff.
Any feedback? Connection to the road?
Nope. Doesn't give you any real feedback. Feels quite disconnected, like a simulator.
And noise? EVs are quiet, right?
Supposedly. But here, there's a bit of road noise. Noise from the tires, noise from overhead. You probably want the radio on.
Suggest maybe not the best sound insulation, a bit cheap.
It does feel a bit on the cheap side in that respect, yeah. But the real piece de resistance, the regenerative braking setup.
Oh no, what now?
You want to adjust the regen, you have to go into settings, then vehicle, then EV regeneration boost, then pick a level.
Okay, bit fiddly.
And you can't do IC while driving.
You're kidding!
I wish I was. Who invented this? Suzuki, you're trying to make us crash. No paddles, no easy switch. It's utterly baffling. Madness.
And incredibly frustrating. And potentially dangerous.
Beyond frustrating. It turns a key EV feature into a stationary setup menu. Just awful design. Handling otherwise. Bit of body roll in corners. Feels a bit hefty.
But planted. Safe?
Yeah, feels planted, easy to trust. But zero driver engagement. It just gets you there. Predictably. Reliably. Joylessly.
And this was driven on a proving ground. As a prototype.
Mostly, yes. Controlled conditions, perfect surfaces. Not exactly the real world, is it?
No. And someone claimed loads of legroom in the back. A tall person.
Apparently a 6'3" passenger did. To which I can only say, if you have tiny little kiddies, they'll be perfectly happy back there. Anyone else, knees up kingdom.
Right. Some reviewers clearly have different standards. Or different knees.
Seems so.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Reliability. This is Suzuki's traditional strong suit, isn't it? Bulletproof, they say.
That's the reputation, certainly. Indestructible.
And they're leaning into it hard with the warranty, a 10-year warranty. Or 7-year service activated on the whole car.
That's the offer, yes. Not just the battery, the whole thing. Up to 100,000 miles in some places.
That is a bold move, especially for a brand new EV platform. So is this genuine confidence? Or is it
compensation?
A desperate attempt to make up for the car's other shortcomings. Feels like a gamble.
It's a huge gamble, but a potentially clever one. Let's look at the details. That service-activated warranty means you have to get it serviced at a Suzuki dealer.
Ah, the catch.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But still, 10 years or 7 years, 100K miles, that's rare in the EV world. Industry-leading, really.
Yeah.
On par with Toyota.
Gives peace of mind, I suppose.
Huge peace of mind, especially in a market where people worry about battery life and new tech failures. And it builds on their history. Suzuki consistently ranks high in reliability surveys, just behind Lexus often.
So it's not entirely out of the blue.
No, they have the track record. People trust them to make cars that last. They're trying to transfer that trust to EVs.
But it's a trade-off, isn't it? The unspoken bargain.
Absolutely. If you buy cars for the long haul, hate repairs, want to sleep soundly, this could be your holy grail. The dependable choice.
But what are you giving up?
You're giving up. Well, everything else that makes modern EVs exciting. The design, the tech, the performance, the clever interior. You trade excitement for longevity.
A trade many might not want to make today.
Especially not in the fast-moving EV market. Reliability is great, but is it enough on its own?
Which brings us, inevitably, to the price, the make-or-break factor. UK pricing.
Starting around £29,000, topping out near £35,000. In India, around 20 lakh rupees base, maybe up to 30 lakh for the AWD if it arrives.
Right, and at, say, £30,000 or more. Can it justify that?
That's the killer question. If this touches 30 grand, no, I really don't think it can.
Oh, I know.
Because it's just not groundbreaking. The figures are lukewarm, the interior is compromised, the design is divisive. It's entering a packed segment with way more compelling options, often for similar or less money.
Price is everything here.
Especially for EVs. Most buyers want value, want to feel they're saving money or getting advanced tech. Just fine. At 30K isn't good enough. It's dead on arrival.
And the competition is fierce.
Insane. Renault 4 E-Tech, Jeep Avenger, Citroen EC3 Aircross, Kia EV3, Peugeot E2008 Smart #1, Hyundai Kona, Tata Curve V, MG ZS EV, BYD Atto 3, Hyundai Creta EV, Mahindra's EVs. The list is endless.
Wow.
And some of those, like the BYD Atto 3, succeed purely on price. They might be mediocre, but they're cheap. That counts for a lot.
What's the online buzz, the early reviews?
The brutal. Someone on Reddit summed it up. Not a single positive review from international media for eVitara. I think it's genuinely cooked. The general feeling is just, it's nowhere.
And the AWD might not even come to India.
That's the rumor, which removes one of its few unique selling points in a key market. Meanwhile, Maruti's market share in India is falling. Tata and Mahindra are surging in SUVs and EVs. Tesla's coming.
So Suzuki's under pressure.
Big pressure. They've already cut their India sales targets for 2031, cut the number of planned EV launches from 6 to 4. It's a quiet admission that things aren't going to plan.
The eVitara feels like a symptom of bigger problems then.
It really does. A bellwether for their struggles in this new era.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, geopolitics enters the chat. China's restrictions on rare earth exports.
Yep. Materials crucial for EV magnets and electronics, and Suzuki's production is being hit.
So they launch a new EV right when the key ingredients are being restricted.
Couldn't make it up, could you? It's like going to war and running out of ammo immediately.
Or launching a ship without a rudder. For a brand like Suzuki, already struggling in Europe, is this just bad luck, or is it potentially fatal?
It's a massive setback. They've had to slash near-term production by 2/3. From over 26,000 planned units down to just over 8,000 between April and September.
Ouch, because of these rare earths.
Directly. China controls most of the processing for these elements, vital for EV motors, batteries, screens. It's a huge vulnerability for the whole industry. And India, a key market for Suzuki, is facing import delays.
A stark reminder of supply chain fragility.
Absolutely. And it ties into a wider, fascinating dynamic. Some see the Japanese government pushing hydrogen tech partly to, well, stall on battery EVs.
Why?
Maybe hoping to carve out a niche, gain a monopoly if hydrogen ever takes off for cars, play on fears about EV fires or Chinese battery dominance.
But hydrogen for cars is basically a dead end globally, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Infrastructure, efficiency.
Huh?
It doesn't stack up against batteries.
Yeah.
But politically, at home, maybe it buys time. It's a complex game.
And Maruti's official line on the production cut.
No material impact on the launch timeline.
Oh.
But they haven't opened bookings yet.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. The whole eVitara launch feels less like a smooth rollout and more like a very difficult uphill climb, battling headwinds from its own design and the global economy.
So let's try and sum this up. The final accounting. It's a mixed bag, you said.
Decidedly mixed. It's unconventional in how utterly conventional it is, if that makes sense.
Explain.
Well, it's practical in some ways, capable with that all-grip E system. Refreshingly simple, maybe. But the interior's a letdown. Plasticky, awkward.
Bounded by Suzuki's conservatism.
Feels like it. Like it wants to be modern, but it's held back by that Great Wall of Japan, Suzuki's cautious nature. It's not groundbreaking. It's certainly not electric chimney. It's just...
Fine.
Fine, exactly. And in today's EV world, fine is almost an insult.
So what does this mean for you, the listener? If you value sheer, unadorned simplicity, bulletproof reliability above all else, maybe. If you keep cars forever and hate garages.
Then perhaps.
Yeah.
It's the sensible shoe in a world of stilettos.
But for everyone else, in a world accelerating into the electric age, the eVitara feels like a polite wave from the slow lane, a quiet sigh. And maybe the cruelest thing you can say about a car isn't that it's bad. Badness has character. Maybe the cruelest thing is, it just exists.
Oof, yes.
And for an industry screaming revolution with every launch, isn't just existing the ultimate absurdity, is perfectly fine, good enough, or just a symptom of complacency.
Something to ponder.
Indeed. Something for you all to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this exploration.